Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. November 2024 update is already here on Gran Turismo 7. 5 new cars, new rims, new events, and there's going to be having one unexpected changes for every Vision Gran Turismo car for only one of them has now featuring to have a fully detailed view for the first time after 11 years. So let's have a good look on the update notice, and this bring out to have some 5 cars are being implemented to be available for only one of them on the used car dealership and legend car dealership. The Ford Escort RS Cosworth 1992 is here, followed by the Mercedes-Benz W196R 1955. And also to have 3 cars on Brand Central that we have 2 Porsche and an updated Suzuki Jimny known as the Sierra JC 2018. As we have the 911 Turbo S Type 992 2020, the processor before the 911 GT3 RS as a 2022 model for the same kind of a generation platform, and there's going to be having one electric hypercar concept is going to be known as the Porsche Mission X 2023. But plus, support for the PlayStation 5 Pro has been enhanced with the following addition that you guys might need to have a good look on the second list for the feature update. It has 8K resolution compatibility, enhanced rendering quality in VR mode, smoother video playback in VR mode, achieved through the VR professional projection function. 2 tracks are now being compatible on Gran Turismo Sobi if you're about to be played on the PS5 version to GT7. 2 of them is Trail Mountain Circuit and Tokyo Expressway east clockwise. 3 events is now being added up to join the lineup on World Circuits for Grand Valley Highway 1 on Jimny Cup as race number 5 additional, followed by Porsche Cup at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Race of Turbo Sports Car is going to be take place to be at Mount Panorama. Extra menu number 42 is Collection. Ferrari Special is now available to be collector at level 48. Brand Central has now adding up to have a new entry for Mitsubishi. New engine swap has now adding up to be additional to have the list of vehicles that you might need to have a good look if you're about to pause this part of the video. There's going to be having a new brand has now added to the wheels is Rotiform, followed by with some new additionals on American Racing, KMC, and Motegi Racing. New decals on the preset and delivery editor has now added with Brembo and Rotiform as well. Scapes, Colorado has been added as a feature curation in Scapes. And there's something else to have one changes to be adding up a cockpit view for the Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo after 11 years since the launch of Vision Gran Turismo project from Gran Turismo 6. And adjusted for the ride height for the following car is the 1975 Ferrari 308 GTV. There's going to be having some price adjustment in Legend Car dealership to be part of Haggerty collection, reflecting rear-wheel valuations provided by Gran Turismo partner Haggerty, renowned for its expertise in classic car valuation and insurance. Haggerty has also sponsored various historic car events in recent years. These updated prices will take effect the next time each vehicle becomes available for purchase. The price revision will be scheduled for March 2025. There's going to be having a difficulty level has now adjusted for Super Formula event at Fuji International Speedway. Physics has now been resolved by having an issue affecting certain hybrid vehicles where after depleting fuel during driving, the car would not regenerate power upon releasing the accelerator. There might be some fixed issue in car customization livery editor when you're visiting at GT Auto. Modifying and saving a light cover or tire sticker will prevent users from reverting to the original livery. So also to be affected to be on shape 1 by number 1-60, followed by with shape 2 on number 2 through 15, and other kinds of various numbers has now been impacted to have some organized when you're about to make your own kind of a livery design. So the sound has been resolved where the background music will not play in surround sound when using Dolby Atmos output through the AB amplifier. Localization has now been fixed by text localization issues, and various issues have been addressed. Alright, let's have a good look and go visit to the world map and start out to have one lineup at the used car dealership to have a good look on the Ford S Cosworth 1992. The price is going to be at 147,100 GT credits. The performance is 477.68, has now been quite good to be placed as original. Displacement is 1993cc, drivetrain is 4-wheel drive, 223 horsepower / 6,000 RPM, 219.8 foot lb / 3,500 RPM, 165.8 inches on the length, 68.4 inches in the width. Height is now going to be at 56.1 inches, and the weight is 2,811 pounds, and also for the aspiration is turbocharger. Ever since to see this road-going version for the first time ever in this game, just like the rally car counterpart from Gran Turismo 2 and onwards to GT6 as a standard version. But perfectly and base color is Pacifica Blue. Unlike the Ford Sierra RS 500 Cosworth as a European-American spec model, but also to be using for the right-hand side of the interior view for the Escort RS Cosworth. Let's get down to learn the details, and this is the perfect kind of a road car has now actually to become as a variant for only one vehicle as a rally car. You seem like a rally car enthusiast. If so, then this is definitely the car for you. The Ford Escort RS Cosworth was the successor to the legendary Sierra Cosworth 454. While the Escort had its heyday in the late 1960s and 1970s, this car adopted the engine and four-wheel drive layout from the Sierra. The two-tier wheel ring made quite the impression. Needless to say, this car was fast, claiming 5 of 13 wins at the 1993 World Rally Championship. It certainly played a major role in restoring Ford to its former rally glory. Very understandable, inspiration, and road car to become as a processor before becoming as a Group B rally car that have a name title to its day. So sign me up, and this is the only kind of an all-wheel drive European-American vehicle just for you, viewers. This has got to go, adding up for car number 1 for this month will be registered to the car index. Collector points to be at 147 has now been acquired to give this one for only one test drive of the experience. Much more similar to the Sierra RS 500 Cosworth 1987 as an FR layout, the Escort RS Cosworth has now been as an all-wheel drive with a turbocharged aspiration. Give its heyday and giving much more racing routes to have some similarity, and of course to have some variant version from Midnight Club 2 is the Coheed and the Breinstein 5. So that's one car check from the used car dealership. Then let's have a good look to have 3 vehicles available at Brand Central, to have 2 for only Europe on session and 1 for new at Asia Pacific. Then let's go to Porsche, and this will have to take a good interesting to have the Type 992 is a processor before the Type 992 GT3 RS. Take a good look, you guys. It has a displacement with 3,745 cc, drivetrain, 4-wheel drive, 641 horsepower / 7,000 RPM, max torque, 590.2 foot lb / 2,500 RPM, length is 178.5 inches, width 74.8 inches, height 51.3 inches, weight 3,616 pounds, aspiration is a turbocharger. Very good to see this kind of a sports car before the 911 GT3 RS as the same type of the 992 model. Very much more similar, and give the differences between 2 years before this one until this one has now becoming the all-achieved sports car to be designed on the track. But the price is cost 300,000 Gran Turismo credit, and 16 colors has now available whenever you might need to pick. One color is a white, Carrera white metallic, chalk, Dolomite silver metallic, GT silver metallic, agate gray metallic, black, jet black metallic, night blue metallic, gentian blue metallic, aventurine green metallic, python green, racing yellow, lava orange, guards red, and carmine red. Maybe this will have to get down to do one best choice to pick to go with the GT super metallic. Let's learn more of the details and see how the Type 992 911 Turbo S is a processor before 2 years until the 911 GT3 RS as of 2022. For more than 6 decades, the 911 has remained a timeless icon within the brand's storied lineup. In 2018, Porsche unveiled the 8th generation model known as the 992. Built on a new MMB platform, the 992 utilized more aluminum in its construction, achieving a lighter curved weight. The pinnacle of the 992 series was the 911 Turbo S, a model that outshined its siblings in performance. Powered by a twin turbocharged 3.7-liter flat 6 that delivered 641 horsepower / 590.2 foot lb to all 4 wheels. This gasoline-powered engine catapulted the 911 to new heights in a landscape increasingly dominated by electric vehicles. This kind of a 911 vehicle in the Type 992 is becoming as an all-wheel drive rather than having an RR layout has now actually to be placed on the rear. But only one kind of a car as an RR that's capable to have a full control to have 4 wheels at once to be using on the front and rear. But very cool, very much more droppable, and capable to be story and balanced to have the sports car unlike the Type 992 to have the same platform like the GT3 RS. But very much more style in silver, and give this car number 2 to be purchased and registered to the index will be stored to have this main part of the collection. Much more similar than the 4S to have the same kind of a Type 992 model from the Crew 2 and the Turbo S as well in GT7 might have to get down to do some similarities with some driving of comparison to have some both generations and same kind of versions. But speaking of which, I almost forgot one thing to be visiting on Porsche to be having a good look on Mission X. Another part of a concept car, and there it is right now. Take a good look, you guys. This electric hypercar has now becoming as a road-going concept vehicle that does not have a displacement. Drivetrain is an RR layout that has a stunning massive of 1,341 horsepower without having numbers of the RPM. Aspiration is an electric vehicle and it doesn't show the number of weight has now been uncalculated. The length is 179.3 inches, width is 76.8 inches, and the height is 46.5. One color available is the Rocket Metallic, and this will have to get down to learn the details to see the Mission X is the most kind of an electric concept car after 2 versions of the Porsche Mission Gran Turismo on the Coupe and the Spider version. A shift from combustion to electricity-based power units has not marked the end of the sports car. No car proves this fact more than the Mission X, a fully electric concept from Porsche. You might even say that it is a technology beacon for the sports car of the future. It serves as a homage to the great Porsche cars of the past while representing a technological breakthrough for the future. The fastest road car to conquer the Nürburgring's famous Nordschleife loop. The Mission X is an ambitious automobile that pushes the limits of possibility. It follows in the footsteps of the 917 legend, Porsche Mission Gran Turismo and Porsche Mission Gran Turismo Spider. Now this brings out to have the 4th kind of a single electric vehicle made by Porsche, but it costs 1 million Gran Turismo credit and it shows to have a performance point to be at 794.31. Very much more chosen to have this kind of a hypercar whenever you're about to participate in hypercar parade. It's full light velocity electric vehicle, and this is going to be having a car number 3 will be stored in to be registered to the car index. Very much more passion, design, and not yet to be customizable, and of course to have some livery design that might be well compatible to see how it turns out. So that might be quite very beautiful, stunning, and true concept heritage for every Porsche vehicles. So it's all done for now. Let's go to Asia Pacific and have a good look for the updated Suzuki Jimny on the Sierra JC. Much like the Jimny XC 2018 from January 2024 update, as the start of the year, and almost to be at the end of the year of this well to have this most updated version. Much like the original to have a displacement of 658cc as the XC model for the Jeepney for only same model of the 2018. It also comes in to have 329.19 performance point for the update Jeepney as a Sierra JC. It has the same drivetrain in the all-wheel drive, going adjusted and make a good peak to be at 100 horsepower / 6,000 RPM. Max torque is going to be at 96.1 foot lb / 4,000 RPM. Length is 139.8 inches, width 64.8 inches, height is 68.1 inches. Weight is now being stationed by default, is going to be going adjusted and update by 2,359 pounds. Aspiration always meant to be as naturally aspirated. Unlike the Jeepney XC, it also comes in to be featured as a turbocharger by becoming as a K car. This one without becoming a K car, and this is going to be a big boy version for this vehicle, and also to be featured to have the same kind of colors unlike the original. But you know the colors, and I'll have to get down to do some main titles just like to see the differences has now comes in to do a comparison. But very much more fortunate indeed, and that is very much more big boy K car to see this Jeepney has now entered to be racing up to be participate on Jeepney Cup. So this will have to get down to do some learn more details. The Suzuki Jeepney is best known as Japan's K car, off-roader par excellence. The Jeepney that broke the K car mold was the Sierra designed for the global market. This Jeepney Sierra is the 3rd gen model known as the JB74. Its rugged yet boxy stance is quite attractive, wouldn't you say? While the original Jeepney had mere 660cc displacement, the Sierra possessed a 1.5 liter engine capable of 100.6 horsepower. Thanks to its part-time 4-wheel drive system and rigid suspension in the front and rear, the Sierra offers sublime handling. The JC grade refers to a Japanese trim that includes LED headlamps and alloy wheels as standard fare. Now this is very much more true successor to have a different kind of a variant for only one Jeepney model. But maybe I'll have to go and decide to have to choose for the right pick of the color. I'll have to go and have the Brits Blue Metallic Black two-tone roof and give this purchase price to be at 20,000 GT credits. And there it goes. Much more original for the K car, and much more type as a road car without having a K car to its roots has now given a good ways to make it much more upgraded to be designed on off-roading. So there you go for car number 4 to be registered to the car index, and this is very much more upgraded version rather than having a K car counterpart. But not to mention that you might need to take a stop by at Mitsubishi before taking a good look on museum. But you'll have to take that tour to go around by having a focusing in the timeline. But that's right, this part of the content video might have to take a good look to see these images that you really kinds of good pictures of Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, Eclipse, and other kinds of vehicles, especially with some Japanese exclusive models. So carry out to be on the 2010 eras, and this is very much more fine lineup additional. Then it goes on in the 2020 era to see some Mitsubishi vehicles has now becoming as SUV. But of course it is, that kind of a vehicle is also to be as a 5-star safety rating for the Tridon. In 2023, 3 Mitsubishi models win Japan's Good Design Award. But you might have to take a good look if you're about to pause this video, and that might be quite giving one Japanese vehicle for Mitsubishi might need to get back to do some production on sports car to its heyday year. Just like the past from the 1990s and 2000, and very much more needed to have some new kinds of returning models such as the Eclipse, Lancer Evolution, and very much more kinds of vehicles for only one kind of a unique sports car. Then let's go and have a stop by at the Legend Car dealership and take a good look on the hot price you guys on the Mercedes-Benz W196R 1955. 20 million credits, and this is going to be high, ultra expensive that you guys really might need to do some farming work whenever you're about to be racing on WTC 800 at Spa-Francorchamps 24-hour layout, and of course to be doing some optional racing at Tokyo Expressway in WTC 600, WTC 700 at Le Mans. Then let's have a good look and explain the performance details that have an average of performance point at 603.20 that has a displacement is 2,497 cc, drivetrain is an F-bar layout, 289 horsepower / 8,500 RPM, max torque is 182.2 foot lb / 6,500 RPM, length is 158.5 inches, 64 inches on the width, 40.9 inches on the height, and also to have the aspiration is naturally aspirated for only one weight in 1,841 pounds. This kind of a race car has now becoming as an F1 vehicle to be having one type as a racing category, just like the Honda RA272. But it's very high expensive and very good fancy to see this most iconic classic F1 race car ever yet to be fulfilled. The name W196 evokes a special reverence among Mercedes-Benz enthusiasts. The reason is this legendary model didn't just compete, it dominated the racing world of the 1950s. When the 2.5-liter engine limit was set for F1 in 1954, Mercedes-Benz engineered a car tailored to the new regulation. This machine, christened the W196R, was equipped with an inline 8-cylinder angle, which on the track became a finely tuned weapon. Upon its debut in 1954, the car claimed 4 out of 6 victories in the skilled hands of racing legend Juan Manuel Fangio. The following year in 1955, it solidified its reputation, claiming 5 wins out of 6 races. The W196R before you hails from that illustrious, unforgettable 1955 season. In this iteration, it appears without the original cowl, showcasing the sleek single-seater with a monopostal body. It features a distinctive hood bulge designed for air intake. By the way, did you know that the W196R had a sibling developed for sports car racing? Named the W196S, this model became a legend in its own right, becoming a titan of the sports car world. Officially known as the 300 SOR, it left an incredible mark on automotive history, with its unmatched design and performance. But true people understand, and F1 car has now becoming as a sports race car vehicle for every year on the 1950s to see these true kind of legendary vehicle to this day. But I still really might need to get filling out with some more currency credit that I have 77,300,354. But I'll have to do the math and get down to do one car available, and that will be giving a one high fortune to get this one to be tested and see how the comparison differences between the W196R and the Honda RA272. But there you go. 20,000 collector points has acquired and registered to the car index, and this is very much more fancy that you guys really might need to do some farming work to get filling out with some more currency credit to go for the limitation up to 20,000. So 5 cars has now acquired. Then let's have a good look on the GT Auto to have a good look inspection check on the livery editor. But maybe one stop to have a good preview on car customization during this part of the content video that you really might need to see some good custom parts when using the Ford Escort RS Cosworth 1992. So let's start out and have a good look to have a new aftermarket rim trim on Rotiform. It has 7 selection of wheels available that you really might need to choose for any kinds of specific vehicle, and especially for Toyota cars as well, along with Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. So this one is the ROC-H. just only have both of them that have the texture or the solid that you have to make your best pick. That one over there is the STL Rotiform. But give or take, it might have to do some standard by the aluminum or the black base color. And over here is the NGO, KPR. Two of them comes in to have some different textures that you really might need to have some variants. Then on to the KMC to have some new additional. Both of them are the KM237 Riot Bedlock. Very cool, interesting, and there's going to be having some 4 new sets to have the KM549 GRS. Pretty neat and pretty nice. Now on to the Motegi Racing. 3 new additional set on the MR150A Tsubaki. It comes in to have the silver, aqua, and even the beige color. But pretty nice, and there's going to be having some new additional on American Racing. Just 3 texture variants on the TTF and the Draft. Alright, that should be doing some good preview to have some new set of wheels, and almost forgot to have 1 preset decals when you're visiting on the livery editor. But no time to have some create a design, and I'll have to take a good look to be scrolled down to be seen on Bremo. Okay, there's number 3 and 4 to have the new kind of an updated Bremo. Just have to keep a good look, and there might be some new ways to have some additional decals to be on the preset. Just have to find one and just have to go by brand logos. Good thing the Pokal has now featured to have 3 of them. Just wait, and maybe that might be giving a good look to see where it's at. Ah, there it is. There's the 2 preset decals on Rotiform. So better grab your cars and get yourself prepared to have your own kind of livery design, and also to have the rims to have the same kind of the Rotiform rims. Just have to keep going, continue for the tour, and I'll have to do everything I could to have this much more progress to see how the custom parts for the Ford Escort RS cost would. Now onto the front. It has a Type A and Type B by using the standard version if you're about to go with wide body kit. Same goes to have the sides, and that one without using the bolts to be equipped, and have the windshields as well. And the rear, just have to do the same without having the badge on the rear to be seen, and have this one on Type B. And for the wing, just have to go with wingless, or just have to go with Type A if you're about to have this one to become as a rally car variation. But looks so cool, and have a good check on the grille. Type A without having this one as a standard part, but this one is very much more indeed exactly to be serving as a rally car counterpart. But same goes effect on the roll cage, and I just really might need to have this one to be added later on to create something else to do some different variation type as a rally car counterpart. So up to the scapes, and looks like today is Friday on November 22nd. But sorry I was late, I just had some other things to do. Station activity when I was playing Minecraft. So here it is, you guys. New scape is on Colorado. Dirty location has now been introduced, but I know, I just really want to see Pike Peaks International Hill Climb has now been introduced to be adding up or having a long time comeback since Gran Turismo 2. So the first one is Garden of the Gods. Different background has come in to have some different scenery on 4 places. Next one is the Castle Creek Road. 2 of them has now been seen to have the season of fall, and the other one just to be having a locate to be part of the end of the Rocky Mountains in the southern place. This one is the McClure Pass. Very driving on the road and good iconic. And this spot over here is just much more perfectly to have this part of the area in the Rocky Mountains. And next one over here is the Rimrock Drive. Different set of scenery location that you have to make yourself to choose some 5 selection between 4 of them on the tunnels to go in or out, and the other one has to be on the outside. Next one is the Aspen. Beautiful scenery, and this one is now being part on the feature curation to have this part of the location with the launch of the game. Next one is the Twin Lakes, Independence Pass. And that is beautiful excitement and very much more exactly indeed to have 30 location if you're about to go pick to be around on the state of Colorado. But looks like landscape shaped by the mighty river is the very perfectly on the scene of the title. Maybe I should probably have to go and choose this one and have the Ford Escort RS Cosworth might have to give it a go. Just have to go example and have the scenery to go by having effect by panning. Go by 250 seconds and going over here. Just give me a moment, I just really might need to have some be creative plans. Okay, headlights on. And picture perfect, just give a rendering and have this one to be in the part of November 2024 update. There you go, quick save and much example when you're visiting on Colorado to have these location background scapes. So it's about to have two errands. We'll have to do a stop by at the GT Cafe, then going back to Brent Central to have one Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo might need to be required to be registered to the car index because of the interior view. So let's have a good look on the extra menus for the update, and here we have number 42 of the extra menu on Ferrari Special. Three kinds of Ferrari Special vehicle has ever produced to have the 1992 Ferrari F40, 1995 F50, and 2002 Enzo Ferrari might need to get three of them will be required to have both of them from Legend Car dealership and one for Brand Central with invitation required. But don't forget, you might need to have a 6-star roulette ticket will be serving up as a reward. Good thing I have three of them. Just like other kinds of Ferrari vehicles to be listed to be having a main part of the story card collection. But after all, every kind of special kind of Ferrari sports car to have a nice ultra rare moment, and this why a perfect time moment to go by progress to have enough currency credits to get three of them after finishing from menu book number 39. Then let's go back to Brand Central and heading on visiting to Mercedes AMG to have one Vision Gran Turismo with having a nice detailed look for the first time ever. But it also to be caused by 1 million Gran Turismo credit if you already have one, and this is where you're about to have a good look to this interior view just whenever you see it. From a standard detail and to a fully realistic view for having a much more impressive to have the first Vision Gran Turismo car has everything whatever you might need to see for your eyes. The 2013 Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision GT was the first car created for the Vision Gran Turismo project. Its design was inspired by the legendary Mercedes-Benz 300 SL, which was released in 1952. The car's designer also drew inspiration from the dynamic movement of big cats on the prowl. It featured a lightweight carbon fiber body, aluminum space frame, and a twin turbocharged 5.5-liter V8, which produced 576.9 horsepower enough to outrun a GT3 race car. Ever since when we played Gran Turismo 6 and Gran Turismo Sport without having a one standardized detailed view, but in GT7, this is where the magic comes in to have a good look turns out to becoming a dream of racing realistic. And also especially to have a star icon in Justice League 2017 driven by Bruce Wayne / Batman as ever to be seen this kind of a vehicle which is very much more iconically. But still popularity and very much more exactly indeed to have a million Gran Turismo credits, but mostly other Vision Gran Turismo cars might need to have a request for having some fully detailed view that we never see before. But of course it is. This might be quite giving a good reserve to have one Vision GT car will be doing a VIP access to go for a practice and make it much more enjoyable to be driving on the track. So I'll have to accept it and just have to heading on over to be at Nürburgring Nationale or Grand Prix. But still has heritage for every Vision GT cars might need to have a detailed view for next month request. But Better make sure that you guys really might need to have enough Vision GT cars without having a fully detailed view. Other kinds of Vision GT cars has premium treatment. So heading up to National Ipe and do the time trial. Go for the full track and set on to noon. Hope I'm ready, and this is going to be a very good interesting that I really might need to take a good look, since yesterday whenever I just left a comment might be giving a good, marvelous, impressive look. Same goes to have some other Vision GT cars that have the different characteristic type of interior view, but this one is now being the first one has ever yet to be received for the first time ever. Then let's begin and feast your eyes on this one, and I just really want to take a good look for myself. Wow, I cannot believe it. This is so beautiful and much more realistic. Whenever I see the steering wheel to this interior view is very more fancy and sporty design on the track. I can't say it's awesome after 11 years since Vision GT came out to be part of the project. But special thank you for Liberty Digital to have one treatment to be serving up interior update for only one Vision GT car to have the first one ever yet to be created. I can't say, I really love to enjoy it, and this is where the real driving goes on in the track. Much more excellent to be say, it could be rather to have more Vision GT cars like the BMW Vision Gran Turismo, Mitsubishi Vision GT, Aston Martin DP100, and other kinds of type of Vision GT cars might need to have some fully detailed view. Will have to give a good much more treatment. But very obviously to say, just have to put the Pescia Vision GT to the list. We might need to have a detailed view along with a Group 3 counterpart as well. So coming on to have the next course, and very much more sound of the V8 engine just for every Mercedes-Benz fans out there for only one good excellent detail view. I can't say, it's very more spacious to see two seats and have the driver to be using on the left hand side. But I kinda like the new kind of a Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo with the interior view for only one Gran Turismo game has now been currently in the present. Much more pretty awesome and very much more enjoyable to have the same kind of a car to be adding up to have the racing series to the same kind of a vehicle. But on the inside, it turns out to be very good, just like playing Gran Turismo 6 and Gran Turismo Sport when using on the hood cam, or in third person, which is very much more quite comfortable to be having a better ways to have the perspective, and especially in Gran Turismo 7 to go with racing interior view to go for a new kind of a racing action. Just have to keep cruising in and follow the line. But I'm always doing some best test driving experience from BBC's Top Gear. Well, every part of the racing game might have to get used to these kinds of characteristics of the vehicle, and especially concept cars as well. But the numbers of the RPM is now going up to be calculated to be on the random. The gears is now being seen on the left just perfectly, and the speed monitor is now going revving up to have a monitor of sensor, and even the kilometers, which is about to go up in about over 200. So going up on gear 3, slow down to take the next turn. Time of day is 1:34 p.m. on Germany time. Well, I can't say that around the world also to be having some different time zones might need to keep a good watchful eye out. So it's about to go up in the high gear, and the temperature today is 17 Celsius. But very cool, and much more new and improved Vision Gran Turismo car has got everything what we need. And other Gran Turismo players to think about the interior view for this one what we want. So within a few more corners, I'll have to take the best spotlight to go enter at the carousel. My favorite corner on Nürburgring Nordschleife. Okay, the marshals is keeping me on surveillance to do some good smooth driving skill set. Alright, here comes the carousel. Got to keep it nice and tight and give it much more performance, just like the trailer. It's going to be at 1:35 p.m. It's going well and going challenging to be tested to have a same kind of a Vision GT car with a new look. Once I'm about to go to the straight, I really had to take a good look for myself whenever I had to keep going forward to be up ahead. But still had to take some few more practice and test runs for every Vision GT cars might have myself to go by first impression. So it's going up to be decreased to be around by the range of RPM by 3000 or 6000 by over. So almost there, just have to take a little bit more halfway mark on the sector, and good eyesight on the view is very what I want to enjoy it. Now for the next sector to go currently on in. Whenever you see inside the interior view to show for the number of lap times. The best lap, which is now being introduced to see right over here on the center, so you really might need to keep a good watchful eye on the number of times that you're if you're about to be going cruising around on the different racing circuit. So coming in to have the next turn before approaches to be right at the flower bed. Pull that brake here. Now coming in, just have to take that turn and go right on in. Alright, once getting out from the corners of technical challenges, now go full straight up by beyond. Now this is what I really love to have a good look to be around. Pretty awesome and pretty more interesting to have a nice rear mirror to be seen. Well, I can't say, whenever you see the top speed, it can go up by 304 kilometers, which is going to be almost at 190 miles per hour. So here it comes. Gonna have to pull the brake, keep it nice and slow. Now, gonna have to take that final turn to go nice and neat. And one single lap is going to be marked by 7 minutes, 33.973 seconds. Okay, very cool, good impression, and nice interior view for only one Vision GT car might need the request of update. So that brings out to have one reserve car for the day, and just have to go for the next 5 cars will be well tested for this month update. Got everything I need and just have to get down to do one single replay to have a good look. Just have to go quick capture thumbnail to have a nice interior view, quick save, and go exit. But almost one thing that I just need to switch back to the Ford Escort RS Coswood is I really had to get down to be ready up and do some challenges to be tested by first impression. So today's workout by the HAB, 14.5 miles, and which is might need to have the other cars will be doing well reserved. So this might brings out to have one special guest appearance to be featured, to have one updated interior view, just like the BMW M4 2014 from Gran Turismo 6. And now the 5 cars is about to be ready up and have the date acquired to be listed for having a lineup of progression. But maybe this will have to begin and start out to have the iconic vehicle from the past, present, and one for the concept car of the future. Starting out with the Mercedes-Benz W196R 1955, we'll have to take the course to be at the Grand Prix circuit. But good thing, this is what to do on the daytime on the noon by 1 minute. 30 p.m. is gonna have to be on the mark of the date. Has to get down to do some old-fashioned, vintage racing experience. But it's possible to see one kind of a classic F1 race car to be racing on WTC 700 event, and especially for Le Mans, just like when using the Honda RA272. But you might need to have one extra additional before visiting in the human comedy. That car goes, but it takes a high expensive that you really might need to save enough currency credit before getting this one in the next time, whenever you might need to see for having one listed lineup for the stock. Let's have a good check on the settings and the engine model, which is known as the M196-W196. Being well set and developed by Racing Hard compound tires, and this is how it goes. And let's see how one classic F1 race car to do some time trial of practice. But whenever you see this most vintage interior view for the first time ever, this kind of a high expensive race car is perfectly built for F1 racing back from the 1950s. But it also to be shows to have the same kind of a technology whenever you see it to be coming around like ticking a clock. Looks so pretty cool, vintage and old-fashioned racing style smell. And it's up right now to begin the time, and here comes the first turn. We'll be going in at number 1. But the Grand Prix track has to get everything to be tested and going right onto the mark before proceed to be racing up on the line. Turn 1 check, now going clear on turn number 2. Okay, doing well. Now going on the brake to be at turn number 3 and 4 to be on the main pattern on the S. Keep that throttle to be maintain sensitivity without going off the track by exiting turn 4. But absolutely to go having a good ticking up when high speed, revving up by the number of gears to go significantly as I'm about to go enter by proceed to sector 2. But looks cool, old style, and very high expensive in the game, just like all the other kinds of the same vehicle, and different yet to have the same kind of a price. But give or take, mostly fancy cars and race cars that comes with a high peak of the price to go up in the limitation up to 20 million GT credits. But it takes a word of high expensive whenever you might need to save up to 100 million. So it's already been checked and cleared from the Micro Screwhammer S. Going on to the left turn on the position corner on in towards the Warsteiner curve. Now for the final sector, here comes and go faster in towards the chicane. We'll have to be on the brake zone to get ready. Alright, very cool and good cruising up on driving experience. So this is going to be good spacious to have this kind of a F1 classic racing machine is very more impressive to be similar to the RA272. But the livery by default has now been placed by car number 10 and still has a base color on titanium silver. But I kinda love it. This is beautiful, mostly high expensive, and well designed to be tested ever since from the 20th century for this day. So the faster lap time has now going clear to be checked by 2 minutes, 13.840 seconds. Sorry, I just try not to get my nostrils to try not to go sneeze. Okay, that's better. Now where was I? Oh yeah, very much more good and drivable to be tested. So that brings out to have one good classic race car for only a single session, total time, and well tested to see some first-hand impression. Now replay mode to go in, and I'll have to take one good scene on the spot to go right onto the chicane. And there we go. Just only have one vehicle test, and that will brings out to have one part of the vehicle test for the day. So make it for the best lap, and switching on over to go to the 1990s by early. So next up, Ford Escort RS Cosworth 1992 will be ready to go between onto the road or dirt racing. So progression is now going up by 19.1 miles, and let's have something else to do for an ordinary racing challenge to see how an all-wheel drive Ford Escort, much more similar to the Ford Sierra RS 500 Cosworth. Then it's up to America and giving a good start to be racing at the Trail Mountain Circuit. Some say that there might be some different possibility if I had to go enter to have some perspective of the racing scene. Well, if so, I just really had to go think about it and racing on to be at Colorado Springs. But one thing for sure, just need to have dirt tires will be required before enter by having one quick stop to be purchased on the race shop. I should rather have to give this and purchasing on dirt tires along with snow tires as well. Just one more thing, and have the equipped tires might need to have some eligibility before take the time trial. Okay, going on forward and set on morning. Then let's give this first try impression to have a one capable road car to be driving on the dirt course to see how it feels if I have to be well drivable to be serving up to be driving as a rally car from Gran Turismo 2 and onwards to GT6 as a rally-based vehicle. Then let's go and take the rolling start before the final corner. We'll have to be ready up in about 3 seconds to go green. But take a good look to the interior view, folks. This is where the racing rally action comes in to go tested by the experiment. The handling is pretty much more wide open when driving on the dirt. Perfectly to be designed for rally car racing in the 1990s before having this Escort is the perfect kind of a pick to be participate in FIA World Rally Championship. First turn clear, now going on in turn number 2. Much more enjoyable driving, folks, but pretty well basic to be doing on the novice experience step to be driving on the course to be driving on the dirt. It's pretty well to have this interior view is perfectly to have these kinds of good performance and speculations to be designed by Cosworth made by Ford European Division. But it serves up to be using on the right hand side interior view rather than using on the left hand side for only one European American road car. But still packs a punch and barely will driving up to be using as an all-wheel drive drivetrain layout. Now coming on clear to have the second sector to take one jump. Alright, good impression. First try to be riding on the good cruise. Got to keep it nice and tight. Avoid taking too much speed bumps. Now going into the final sector and perform the power slide. Now gonna do the drift. Just keep that grip steady up and go clear. Now for having a good clear for the finish line by crossing in. One single lap by achieved by a minute 42.702 seconds. That's very good for part 1 on dirt driving by the experience, and give it a quick exit for a day. Now, calculations to be checked and giving a highlight to be paused in to be well seen, and have one replay image to go for having a captured thumbnail moment. So here it goes right now. Well, it gets blurry, and this one over here is just what I need to have. Alright, there you go. That should be well placement to be on the number 4 spot on the ranking board, along with 2 versions of the Ital Design Exenio Vision Gran Turismo and Ford Focus Group B rally car. So 2.4 miles of today's driving marathon and going up in 21.5. Now, this will have to take the next step to go on full race with using the Ford Escort to be challenging up to be entered in American Sunday Cup 600. But only one thing for sure, to get down to do some quick ways on event directory. Now, got to choose which event is going to be quite very good to be using for the Ford Escort RS Cosworth. That would be a good pick and go down to be at Willow Springs International Raceway, Big Willow. That's I'm about to go to and give it much more tested to have a hard compound tires and do a 3-lap challenge will put to the test. That will be a very good ways to have one kind of a practice on dirt driving and one practice to do a challenge on road racing. To be having some sure for only one differences between Ford American and Ford European division. One brand and similarity to have these kinds of different models to be serving up to be using on the left hand side and right hand side for every same kind of a vehicle platform. Then let's get it on for having a rolling start at the 10th position before the countdown in 3 seconds to go challenging up with some American muscle cars, and especially for the DeLorean S2 has now been seen in the first. And it's up right now to be going in by turn 1. Keep the throttle to be up tight to be focusing on the Chevy Camaro SS 2016 before going in on turn number 2. Give it much more counterpart to do some steering wheel like doing an F-bar layout. Just keep the line check and stay on the tarmac before going up on turn number 3 at sector 2. Okay, the Camaro is slowing down. Got a good eye on the Pontiac GT of the Judge right next to the Tesla Model S. And there you go. Just have to make one step and keep it well defended. It's going to get much more challenging to have the Escort is going to have to go inside onto the apex to get one pass on the single American electric vehicle. That's the ticket. Down to the gap by 12.2 seconds to go to catch up and focusing on to sector 3 by reaching up to the Pontiac GT of the Judge. Brilliant good skill for the Ford Escort and suitable driving to be well based up as a single wheel going part. And there's the C3 Corvette convertible style. Overtake, then going in on the 6th position. Okay, it's only down to 10 seconds left, and I have the faster lap by a minute, 38.399 seconds for the Ford Escort is now doing well. But I still think about these kinds of good ordinary Ford vehicles to be designed as Group B rally cars from the 1990s. But it still does have some similarity parts like the Ford Focus. It does have some good differences between American and European models for only one part of the brand to have these kinds of good unique styles and give it much more design of racing to be participate as Group A. This one is going to be a preset to become as a Group B rally car for the Ford Escort, which is exactly to do some adjusted performance to be designed and will perform to be racing on the dirt track. But special stage rally might have to do some practice times whenever it might need to go guiding up and get much more focusing to be mastered on the turns and elevation terrains. As a road car, different challenges always had to be well tested to be made to see how good you are when driving on the Ford Escort RS is very much more nostalgia and giving a fan time favorite of the rally-based vehicle. Now it's coming in to have one good group approach, get that balance, regain control, and heading up to the final lap. A minute, 33.713 seconds, update on a faster lap. here comes the final lap, and gonna have to hurry up to be having one part of the test is gonna have to do it right. Okay, 3 muscle cars accompany. This could get challenging for the Ford Escort RS. I see the DeLorean. Okay, Camaro and Challenger are about to go toe-to-toe. Just wait for it and find a good, decent inside opening. Challenger just blocked the Escort's opening. And here comes the dive in. Just keep it center up and tight and catch us up to the DeLorean. Now there you go. Just cue the slipstream like you're about to have a one single street race starter car from Midnight Club 2. Yeah, guess I'm just being a little shrimp, and I've just always had to get proven up to be driving. Full stretch and first place by having a decent challenge is going remarkable to be arriving on the checkered flag podium finish. I kinda say, it does matter to see how good you are to be driving with a Ford Escort RS, which is perfectly to have a Ford kind of an American European type for you. It really does have to do some experience to have a good decent performance and give it hard compound tires when using the sports category by having under 4 minutes by 46.366 seconds to go by a total amount of time. But C. Dyer just took the fastest lap time by 1 minute 32.796 seconds to beat my current record. But more practice, always had to do some 5 new cars of the update will get tested. And there's the 4-star wheel a ticket has acquired, and it's going to be the perfect time to have this kept for reminder before Christmas Day is going to be on the 25th. But the expiration date reminder is going to be on December 22nd. Now, gonna have to get down the replay and see which one should I have to go with. But maybe I have to do a better idea to have that spot to go enter in. I would like that to have myself in a Ford Escort and overtake with the DeLorean S2. Let's have a good look and make that good scene on the capture thumbnail. Just have to go right on in to have this scene, and it needs to be preferred to go close in. Alright, now just have to wait for it and give this capture thumbnail image to be quick save and content replay required. With 2 vehicles tried out, one for a reserve vehicle with interior view, then let's go having third vehicle as moving to the 2010 by trying out with the Suzuki Jeepney Sierra JC. As by taking one quick stop by on event directory, I'll have to take a good look on one race added in Porsche Cup to be at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for race number 6, and also for race number 7 in Racer Turbo Sports Car at Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. But speaking of which, by having one event added in Jeepney Cup and feature for having a new start of the weekly challenges before prior to Thanksgiving Day. Grand Valley South is now being serving up to go by additional in race number 5. But perhaps when visiting on Willow Springs International Raceway, I'll have to take a quick stop by to go over to be in the Horse Deep Mile. But good thing having one improved variation on the Jeepney to go by without having a title of a K car. But this has got to do much more perfectly to have a single kind additional to be part as a one-way category for only both of them on the Jeepney XC and Jeepney Sierra JC 2018 as the same model. But perfectly to have Comfort medium tire has now started by default, has now been placed by original on 329.19. How about I'll have to go purchase on Race Sports Hard or Medium just to be adding up by having a matter of equipped to be tested to see how good it is to be well embraced to go by experience to have a different of off-roading size. but driving on the road matters. Compatibility, we'll always have to see which one is the differences between both Jeepney on the K-Car by normal original and the updated improved without having a K-Car title. But it still has a K-Car heritage for the Sierra JC for the same Jeepney, just like the original was very much more experienced to be tested and give it much more 4x4 driving in all-wheel drive. Then let's give it a go and have a first impression for the updated variant on the Jeepney to go by sporty of a big boy K level to set out with new heights. And also for the same kind of the interior view might give a different look to have a nice variant treatment to go by the original, but it still have the same kind of a 2018 model just like the XC counterparts, and this one is very good to be improved to be well tested when you're using on sports compound tires, and by default comfort medium as well whenever you're about to be tested to see how challenging can it get. But the handling is pretty good, much more improved, and very standardized is now being well capable if you're about to bring this one to the Japanese 4-wheel drive 600 on specific racetrack. And there's going to be having one more thing exactly when having both version on Suzuki Jeepney in the same type of the 2018 model. By the rear, it also shows to have some lineup vehicle has now been listed as XC models, and few of them are about to go where the Sierra JC is now go for less. But comparison and differences might have to do some research if you're about to have to see some both cars in one kind of an exclusive one-make race event as well. I can't say because additionally to have the Jeepney Cup to go racing up to be heading on over to be at Lake Louise long course has already been achieved to be successful to be tested to go driving on the snow. But still love to enjoy it, and in the meantime to have some few days until winter is coming in the month of December. So coming up in about a few more seconds on the gap on C. Roach at the 6th position, go clear by turn 3, and go by turn number 4 at the 2nd hairpin. There we go, another Jeepney XC overtakes. Just have to go to the 2nd sector and wait for A. Lopez to be stayed behind on the 5th. Alright, that's a good handling check and good stable to be motion up when facing a good ordinary opponent to have some custom exterior parts. But this one might have to do some same customization options if you're about to go with racing spec on the track. Much more easier said than done, and much more improved of the variant to see the Jeepney Sierra JC can go faster up to have a new stage of a big boy K level to have some better challenges to face up with some few other manufacturer brands. Faster lap time I took by the improved is 1 minute 15.989 seconds. Alright, now I'm on the dirt, and here comes the downhill to be stopped at turn number 3 before coming back at hairpin 2 in turn 4. Only 2 Jeepney XCs to go, and 1 Sierra JC is still on the third position to go quicker up and be on standby to be patient on the motion. And there you go, marvelous overtake to do some more step of the practice and keep a good all-wheel drive to counter up and stay in one piece. Well, I kind of like both of them. It still does have the same kind of a chassis foundation to have some both ways to do some standard performance as a K car and give it much more updated performance to go with some new improved sport level type has everything what Suzuki just have everything to do. But still has a good kind of a K car for the Sierra JC has now actually to be well eligible to be racing on specific category types without participate in the lightweight K Cup. But this one should not be entered as well, but the XC will be stay remain. So it's on the final lap. 1 minute 13.003 seconds I took recently by having a good faster lap time, and first place is in the lead. Just have to hold the line to go forward to be back onto the 2nd sector to go by having a procedure at hairpin 4. Just look at it go, and very obvious to see the handling to go steering up and keep it deaccelerate whenever you're about to go clear when using the sports hard compound tires. Now, gonna have to take the checker flag, and there you have it. Quicker ways and style to be challenging up with using the sports tires to go quicker and piece of cake. First place has now been achieved by having a third vehicle test in the can and get down to do some results. Total time in 4 minutes, 48.105 seconds, and fastest lap I took is 1 minute, 8.298 seconds on the Ford has now been checked, clear, and very good room of eligibility to have 3 Sierra JC and also to have, especially to get down to do some 9 kinds of a Jeepney XC. But very good and very more exactly to get down to do some knowledge of research about both versions on Suzuki Jeepneys. But clean race is all done and third vehicle well tested to have enough of decent amount of practice. Then let's have that replay to be checked and go for the scene of a captured thumbnail image. Can't say about 3 Jeepney Sierra JC has now been listed onto the grid that might have to do some count of an even balance. But how about a 6-on-6 between both versions on the Suzuki Jeepney might be a very good excellent idea to be racing on the lobby, sport mode, or in custom race. That would be a very good possible idea to have that captured thumbnail image might be a very good creative ways to be seen in perspective. But good in the blue, and just have to go over to be in the 2020s for having 2 more cars to go, and that means 2 Porsche will be going up onto the next list, will be ready to enter to be participate to have some main lists on event directory. So it's off to the Porsche Cup, and this will get down to do some plan of encore as I had to get down to do some list of events if I either to go for the right pick or just have to go to the Nürburgring Nordschleife. But the Type 992 911 Turbo S will be ready to go to have car test number 4 will be reaching up before the Mission X will be up on race number 5 to be tested. So I'll have to take a good look. Compound tires is now being set by default to be using on the Sports Hard, and the engine model is known as the DKH Type 911. But very good to have a basic all-wheel drive 911 vehicle just like other specific 911 cars to be listed as an RR drivetrain layout. But 1 lap and it's going to be right back to be at the Nordschleife after I just test out to have a good impression look on the interior view on the Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo. But I really still love the interior view for having a nice sight of the look, and it turns out very perfectly brilliant and much more far concept to be futuristic. But other players may like it, and they just giving a much more eyesight inspiration to have a good cheer of happiness. Then it's about to be ready to go full turbocharged for the 911 Turbo S as a Type 992 will get started out to be in the last position before climbing up with some few other Porsche vehicles in the RR and mid-engine layout. Especially for the 959 as an all-wheel drive like this one that has everything to go tested with a turbocharged capability. With this interior view, this is very much more sporty processor 2 years before the 911 GT3 RS as a Type 992 model has everything to go with a similarity with the performance and style of comparison. But it does has a good beauty of sports car to be designed in all-wheel drive besides the RR drivetrain layout. But mostly other Porsche vehicles always love to be preferred to go with the RR drivetrain layout because it's best for popular use. And other Porsche vehicles on the 911 and the 959, 1989 to go with all-wheel drive. But this one has everything to go full turbocharged to be handled onto the front and rear to be controlled on the steering of direction. But this will have to go quicker and have that brake zone to go climbing up the hill. There you go. Just have to keep that driving line to go safe and go elevated up to have a total gap distance is now in play by 32.5 seconds. So I had to watch myself. Got to keep it stay behind and be proceed with caution whenever I had to keep it much more well balanced to be driving in all-wheel drive to have some few other Porsche vehicles in RR drivetrain layout. But close call, and barely got some good lucky chance to get there to catch up on Patrick Bresson in the 12th position. Next sector coming in, there's Garza on the Porsche Cayman GT4 2016 on the 12th. Got to stay behind with the other drivers in different Porsche 911 GT3 models, and especially with some Carrera and Turbo versions. But very cool to be exactly to see the all-wheel drive Porsche 911 in the 21st century has everything to be bring back to its roots after the 959 was introduced in the 1980s by the late model. So I finally got this one. It takes a lot of practice and master the green hell to see how the differences between the same Type 992 with the 911 Turbo S and the GT3 RS counterparts. Designed to have a luxury sports car level and make it to become as a Grand Touring vehicle spec level to see the active wing spoiler has also to be featured. But this one without using the DRS, which is exactly to be set by default to go with a normal kind of an aerodynamic wing. On the other hand, this rear wing spoiler has a good fixed function, has everything what we see here before, but very much more sporty to be designed in luxury and beauty, and just like the GT3 RS counterpart in the same 992 model. But still very yet to have an 8th generation model, which is very more to be designed and give it more turbocharged to be designed to have some best capabilities to be racing with some few other European cars. But the exterior, this one has everything to be well designed as a modern day supercar. Got to go up and get quicker to be catch up on Reinhardt in about 1.9 seconds to go. So Adriano Carrazza is in the lead, going faster and expert to be driving on the 911 GT3 Type 997 2009. Much like the Type 996 as a 2001 model, differences and comparison for each 911 in RR drivetrain layout, which is very good to be designed as a boxer spirit. But it's about to get Forza Company. I see Angel Inestrosa on the second, and let's catch up to Jose Serrano on the third in the Porsche Carrera GTS Type 904. Okay, there you go, by overtake to Sugalara. Now wait for Jonathan Wong. Got the pressure at the pace and go to the next corner before reaching up on the carousel as I had to go to the third position. So, it's going to be a one-on-one showdown in Porsche all-wheel drive. 959 versus 911 Turbo S is about to get started by having a lineup by reaching the carousel. So it's on right now, and the classic just been overtaken by the modern all-wheel drive Porsche 911. Okay, the chase is on. Now, I still have some few more turns to go by quicking up on the gap distance by 20.3 seconds to go. But sometimes, balance is the key. All-wheel drive is the potential to see what the Porsche 911 Turbo S can actually to go faster and well quick enough to be handled on other 911 vehicles. Just like the same type of the 911 Carrera 4S to have a similar look from the Crew 2 as a street racing discipline by having an active wing spoiler to be featured by a functionality. But it does might have the same kind of the Type 992. Just put that one up to be doing some research and give it a comparison of difference. So next sector coming in. Almost there, down to 15.7 seconds to go. Alright, very good. Just have to keep handle the turns and respond by the brake. Apex going to check to be procedure. It's only down to 13.7 seconds. So I have to hang on to myself. Just almost there and give it more full turbocharge. Alright, that's good. Down to 11 and keep decreasing by the decimal on the numbers. Got to take the flower bed corner up, and Adriano Carrazza is already in by the straightaway. This is where it all comes in to have a nice fun to go full pace and full throttle. So I may have a good feeling about this and give it one more speed to be up and higher up in the gear. Give it like a one element of drag racing to see the turbocharged 911 is going to have to catch up to the 2009 version. But it actually has to do some more tests of experience to see how you can do very well to be mastered with this nice turbocharged 911 2020 model as a Type 992. So it steadier as it goes. Got to keep it good quick and pull out the brake. Just have to keep it much more pressure to be stay on hold, and there's no need to have a victory moment to be well tested out to have a good first on impression. So Adriano Carrazza takes the win, and faster lap time I just achieved to be reached in second. Very much more indeed to see how you can do very well to have an all-wheel drive Porsche 911 Turbo is exactly to be like the 959. But more likely, past and present just have to give the same kind of a drivetrain layout for every heritage, just always have to do some more work of the practice. But I have a faster lap time by 7 minutes, 58.676 seconds is all clear by the total time after Carrazza just took by 7 minutes, 55.382 seconds. So it's all good for now. Clean race bonus has now been done and done. People are doing one more test drive to be trying out to go to Tokyo Expressway east clockwise. There you go, right at the scene, and this one is perfectly good. Just have to get closer and have this most perfective thumbnail image right over here. It takes seconds to go with Be Creative artwork after the race is over. Always have to make it matter to have a good artwork to make one image of the replay. And this one is perfectly what I like to do the most. It's about time to be ready to go for part 2 of the Porsche Test Drive experience to be using with the Mission X. We'll be heading up to Tokyo Expressway east clockwise. Having some very experience about different Porsche concept cars like the 917 Living Legend, Porsche Vision Gran Turismo, and Porsche Vision Gran Turismo Spider. The Mission X is also to become as a forever concept car to become as the electric vehicle, but very much more exactly to see how faster can it go to be rev up to have a single drive mode to be an electric type. Drivetrain has still got some RR capability, just like doing an all-wheel drive is now doing some comparison of performance. So that the mission time trial will go underway and see how I did very good out there to have a first try when using the Porsche Mission X is all about having experience to see one electric hypercar is all about having a different experience to go for the next kind of an electric vehicle. But with all due respect, it takes practice whenever you get used to it to have one Porsche Mission X has actually to have a good potential to go maximum on the horsepower between on 1,341 horsepower. But it doesn't show the weight and still has some possibility to be having a good look on the settings is the Sport Soft tires. But the engine model is the EB-Mission X is now being set by ordinary by default. The front is now being set by the balance in 45 and rear is at 55. Now let's get started and see how the nice sound of the Porsche Mission X will get prepared to have a single time attack to go rev up and go full electric drive mode. So you see, this interior build is becoming a next level concept car after two Porsche Vision Gran Turismo. It actually might be going more powerful and give it much more full electric mode to be stay on the main get-go. I kinda say, this sound of the engine is getting much more humming up and going light beyond velocity to go carry out by over 200 miles per hour. Just look at it go. And it's very more screaming up to have a nice sound like a jet engine. Perfectly to see this concept car has now added to the game in Gran Turismo 7. So here comes the first turn by coming into Sector 2. Early brake as it goes and keep that Mission X to go by the main objective. Achieved by the time attack and master this concept car is all about doing some experience. But luckily, it'll have to be serving up to go all-wheel drive in action. It still has an RR drivetrain layout according to the racing calculation for this electric vehicle. Truthful to be successor to have two Porsche Vision Gran Turismo, and that is very much more exactly to have a good electric hypercar to go full acceleration in drive. Got to go brace, 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 and next turn to go clear without having a barrier contact. But wonderful to be exactly to carry out by over a minute and currently to be around by the range of 45 seconds. So you're gonna have to keep practice well when driving on the Porsche Mission X. Is all about to have one objective. Keep on racing, stay clean, and practice well. Now coming in to be proceed to the final turn, and final push will give it more power. But don't get too over rev, that will lose enough balance and just have to keep it much more counter steering up without losing enough grip. But I kinda like the exterior style. This one is very cool to be exactly as a 2020 models have a good concept top of the model. But Porsche cars has still yet to be studied up to have some different vehicle for development to have some new electric vehicle, but currently the Porsche Taycan Turbo S is the main course of the example ever since when it all came out back from 2019. But other automotive brands will have to take a focus on electric vehicles will have to face the climate change. So the first lap cleared by 2 minutes, 2.312 seconds, and still get used to it to have a one possible racing mission on the X. But give or take, it has to do some possibility to go carry around by over 2 minutes when racing on Tokyo Expressway in the East Course session. Just have to go clockwise or counterclockwise. But much more impressive to have the sound of the engine is screaming up to turn loud. Got to keep it careful and do the inside to be coming in on the next sector. Alright, very nice and very good. Just have to hold it right in. Just stay on to the final turn to go quickly to do some touching up the apex and drive mode to keep it all I got. So that's very good to have to stay on track to be in one piece. And there's going to have to take one best push to have enough gap distance by 3.2 seconds. Almost there, and go by a minute and 59.028 seconds. Incredible and electrifying impressive. So this is going to be having a first time ever to be having a good drive on the Porsche Mission X, just like 3 kinds of a concept Porsche vehicles. But better yet and simple, 5 sectors has everything to be checked and calculated to go beat having one single objective by a minute 59.028 seconds to go by having a 2-lap time attack to go over by 2 minutes. And better yet and simple, you guys really might need to have a good treat of respect when using the Porsche Mission X. It's all about having new ways and new experience, just like the Porsche Mission Gran Turismo and Porsche Mission Gran Turismo Spider. Now onto the replay to have a good look to be well tested out to see this most electric Mission X Porsche car has got everything to be well prepared to go by cruising up on the highway streets. But the engine sound is screaming out like a jet engine or any kinds of various characters that you ever heard of a reference. And there it goes to have a good start to be faster in by coming out the tunnel. Much more clear, and just have to get close in to have a nice scene of the perspective to go capture the thumbnail. I'll have to keep that for sipping later on, and you guys really had to sit back and watch that replay just to see some good moments to drive out to have that first experience on the Mission X. But other kinds of concept cars that you really might need to do some treat of respect, it's all about learning, knowledge, and have the first on hands impression whenever you really might need to get used to it. It takes practice to get it right and always have to do some skills of driving discipline. Driving discipline on any kinds of different vehicles around on GT7 is very more important that you have to get used to it to have these kinds of skills of performance, get used to all kinds of first on hands, and especially to have some different opponents with characteristic type between on the road car, or just have to go with additional type to be having a hybrid car, electric, or concept car to have some merge of type. But better yet to be simple that you might need to have to get used to it, 5 cars for the update, 1 kind of the interior view treatment for having 1 Mercedes-Benz AMG Mission Gran Turismo. But one thing for sure, I'll have to save a replay later on that you guys really might need to take a good look will be set available for every content replay to be set in public. So the total time is 91.2 miles of the day, and that will be it for now for having one good, excellent, interesting surprise for November 2024 update. But no new racetrack at the moment, because it's still sad for every Gran Turismo player, but maybe next month in December, Liberty Digital will be making a promise, but they will be having one new racetrack, or the return ones might be giving an interesting surprise to have a holiday gift. And plus, there's going to be having one surprise about the GTWS Manufacturers Cup and Nations Cup for the World Finals is about to be coming up in about early December. Then let's have a good check on the car index to be heading back to the GT garage. I almost forgot about it, and this time, going main focus on 5 cars will do the rest. I'll have to be highlight to be select by new. Got to get down and give a good solution guess to have the right kind of a vehicle for this month update. Starting out with the W196R 1955, a legendary F1 car that made motorsports history. The description will get down to do some knowledge if I had to scroll down that you guys really might need to pause this, and very good to be inspired to have the first ever kind of a F1 vehicle back from the 1950s. Commemorating the moment of all the place in racing history by dominating the 1954 and 1955 Formula One World Championships, securing back-to-back drivers' titles for the legendary Juan Manuel Fangio. It's all about the tribute for the legendary iconic driver, and this one is a good place to be here on GT7. We'll always have a good valuable place and get used to all kinds of good different challenges for every historical racing vehicle. Now for the second one, to get down to have a good random pick, just have to be seen and right over here on the Porsche 911 Turbo S Type 992. The top performance version of the 8th generation 911. For more than 60 years, The Porsche 911 has renowned as the crown jewel of historic sports car company, and in 2008 it entered 8th generation codenames 992. Prior to be successful like the Type 992 in the GT3 RS as a 2022 model, but iconic 911 as a 2020 model for the same 992 has got everything for having a main part of the lineup, unlike the Carrera 4S and the Carrera 4. 7-speed manual transmission to be available for only both of them, and especially to have the standard gearbox for the Turbo S 911 is at 8-speed. Well, 8-speed transmission is good for every specific Porsche vehicle, and I kinda think it's always about to have any kinds of good taste and different style of rarity performance to be drivable on the track. For the Porsche Mission X, a hypercar concept to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Porsche. That's where the brand comes in on June 8, 1948, were the first car to bear the Porsche name. But following the tradition of the 917 legend, the Porsche Vision Gran Turismo and the Porsche Vision Gran Turismo Spider all featured in Gran Turismo 7. The Mission X is yet another remarkable automobile that pushes the boundaries of what is possible in the future. But you guys really might need to check it out on Porsche YouTube channel to be featured on the Porsche Mission X. It's always about to have a part of collaboration and still being popular for every concept car to this day. Now for the Jeepney Sierra JC 2018, a shouter Jeepney with an eye on global success. Same model just came in 2018 along with the XC model. It comes in to have an inline-4 dual engine for only one Sierra JC Jeepney. Top tier, and still have a Japanese model to be featured on the right hand side interior view because of the robust suspension ensure the vehicle performed just as competently scaling rock as it did cruising on asphalt. But more likely, it could be well drivable to be racing on the dirt and snow courses that you are about to use for the Jeepney Sierra JC, unlike the XC counterpart. Both of them are same, and variation comes in on different style. And for the Ford Escort RS Cosworth 1992, a WRC homologation special with a unique double-decker wing design. Very much more unique double-decker to have that wing spoiler is more similar to the Sierra RS 500 Cosworth. But very good to have a one-wheel car to be welcomed to Gran Turismo 7, just like the Group B rally car counterpart from Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo 6. But you guys really might need to have this one to be serving up as a rally car variation for this Escort RS Cosworth. This one is perfectly to have a nice nostalgia that you really want to do this to be enjoyed like ever before. Just like all kinds of Japanese rally cars, but the Escort RS Cosworth is very much more welcome to be exactly to have a nice interior detail view with the right hand side. Now, anything else that might have some new vehicles? I guess that would be it for now, and this will have to do the right time to be ready to wrap this up before at the end of the video, so I hope you guys really enjoyed the tryout to have 5 cars for this month update on GT7, and especially to have a nice additional interior view for the Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo to have a nice good look of the detail view for the first time ever. But take a good look, and this is very much more sweet, beauty, and all-time first ever made as a concept. I kinda like the steering wheel. This is very much more beautiful to be exactly indeed. I know you guys are happy, and I really am happy to see this nice interior view for the Mercedes-Benz AMG Vision Gran Turismo has now waited for a long time after 11 years later. But I'll have to go again soon, and it takes a lot of good moment to see these images as you already seen this before. Especially for only one Vision Gran Turismo car, but there might be some more requests on other Vision GT cars might need to have the interior view will give it a much more needed to have some further ways to go. But I can't wait. This will have to get down to have a new day, and the 4th week of November will get started on the weekly challenge. So thank you for enjoying watching the video on Gran Turismo 7. I hope you enjoyed. Go subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Follow me on Deepinet Art, Instagram, Blue Sky, GT Planet, Patreon, Discord, and more social media platforms. Plus, membership is now open to everyone. We'll join to get access for price levels a month with exclusive perks, custom emoji with my OCs, and many features to support the channel. It's the best way to help out with the super thanks as an extra will support and grow. I'll be see you guys next time on Gran Turismo 7, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.